Hi, am I on the air?
Yep.
Fuck.
Thanks.
We interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast.
Is this thing on? I said shots to Nick and Dawn. Him on the air radio every Sunday night, man. What up? Red Dragons. Shout out to the boy Nick. I see you done. You about to witness the real talk, real talk. Put it in your ear. We reaching for the sky, but we put it in the air. Not a glass jar, but I tell it to you clear. Hammer on the air, we rock. Here's your whip, man. Hammer on the air, here's this mic here for nothing. My demographic pull dude box office numbers. Weekend review said we #1 getters. Now y'all all here, we're #1 getters. Turn it on, Nick and Dawn. And I'm like, turn it up, what the fuck, We air it out, wear it out, and we winning. Him on the air, follow back, and we trending. You can't tell me what I bet not be. Don't give a FCK about the FCC. I'm the head for the hellish, voice for the voices. Him on the air Sunday night, and I'm off this.
Am I on the air? Aw, yeah. It's that time again. It is time for Am I on the Air? I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. A couple days late. I told you at the end of last week's episode I would not be on here live this past Sunday night. I was going out of town for a couple days, little family getaway. But I am back in town. Just got back a couple hours ago. And I said, you know what? I'm back home. I'm settled in. It's time for another edition of Am I on the Air? So I'm jumping right into the gate to get you all up to speed. It is July 15th, 2014. Tonight it's Season 8, Episode 22, Apes on Horses. Oh, yeah. Apes on Horses is tonight's show title, and of course, that relates to the #1 movie in America, and that's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I'm very, very excited to talk about that, and of course, getting you all up to speed in the latest and greatest of entertainment news. A couple shout-outs I want to kind of do at the beginning here. For one, we will be doing a spoiler review, another new Am I Still on the Air, for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Should be doing it with Geeky Pat and For My Peoples. That should be within the next couple of days. I don't have an exact date or time lined up yet, but it is definitely in the works, and we will be doing it here in the next couple of days. On top of that, speaking of For My Peoples, I'm very happy to announce we've been talking about it and we've been teasing it for a while now, but he finally got his show up and running. His show is titled The People's Forum, and it is available on Red Dragons Radio, so if you go to reddragonsradio.com, you can listen to The People's Forum. And his debut episode, his premiere episode, is the history of comic book films. And it's actually part 1, and it's 1979 to the year 2000. I'm happy to announce that I am actually a special guest on this episode. And just to kind of let you know, the original idea when we did this episode was not to do it in multiple parts. We were going to do the history of comic book movies, and that was going to be it. It was going to be one big, gigantic, couple-hour, episode. Well, if you've listened to the show already, or you've looked at it, you'll know that basically it is a 2-hour episode, and we only got from 1979 to the year 2000. There's a lot of comic book movies to talk about. So we started to hit the early 2000s, like we mentioned, like X-Men and like some of the original movies of the 2000s, and then we decided to kind of put a pause to it. It was either continue to truck on and do like a 4-hour episode, or stop where we were and then kind of, proceed with the part two about a week later. So we actually recorded this show last Wednesday. I think the show went up this past weekend, and we might be recording part two maybe tomorrow, this next Wednesday. So by the time you listen to this episode of Am I on the Air, there might already be the second episode available, which will be the rest of the 2000s. I mean, there's so much more to talk about. I mean, we haven't even touched the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which of course is going to be a big discussion in its own right. So it's a great episode, actually, hosted by Sean, who's at For My Peoples on Twitter. I was happy to be a guest on it, and his good buddy Fred, who actually is not on Twitter, so I can't give out his handle, but Fred joined us. So it's a good, three-way discussion of all comic book movies, what we liked and everything. We touched on like all the Superman films, talked about the Batman, like the Tim Burton versions, and Blade, The Crow, just a lot of movies. Of course, the Batman, all the other Batmans, the Joel Schumacher ones. Like, there's a lot of good discussion there. So, definitely go check it out. RedDragonsRadio.com. Click on the tab. This is the People's Forum, and check out the part one of the history of comic book films, 1979 to 2000. All right, so there is the big shout out of the week. I'm very happy to have been a part of that. I hope you enjoyed last week's Am I on the Air, which was called My Face is My Warrant. Hopefully by now you've already listened to our last Am I Still on the Air, which of course was Transformers Age of Extinction spoiler review. And now we will get into this week's edition, which is Apes on Horses. So, of course, this film here, one of my most anticipated films of the summer. I loved Rise of the Planet of the Apes. The movie came out a couple years ago. It had James Franco in it, and of course, the great Andy Serkis, who did the motion capture for Caesar, who's the main ape in that film. And when that movie came out, it was one of those rare movies that I saw the trailer, and I was like, that's cool, and I'm looking forward to it, but I wasn't overly thrilled about it. I was just like, that should be a cool little action flick. Well, 2 hours later, after I sat down and watched that movie in the theaters, I walked out going, oh my god, that movie was amazing. And I gave it a 5-star review. I loved Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I'm not a big fan of the original Planet of the Apes movies. I thought the reboot was okay with Mark Wahlberg, but that was so long ago that if I tried to watch it again now, it just looks so cheesy. But I really enjoyed what Rise did, which Rise was like a prequel, and it kind of took the early stages of that concept, and I loved it. I thought everything about it was so good. Now, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is here. This movie, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm so exhausted from this trip. But this movie takes place 8 years after the events of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and the simian flu has hit and has knocked out most of our population. Actually, the apes think that all the humans are dead. The humans are starting to that have survived this disease have started to try to rebuild, and everybody kind of keeps to themselves. The humans are trying to rebuild, and the apes are up in the mountains just doing their own thing. And basically, Caesar, who of course once again played by Andy Serkis, is the leader of the apes community, and the storyline kind of starts to take place when a couple people are up in the woods. Some humans, or a group of them, are up in the woods, and they run into two of the apes just randomly, and they're like, oh my god, and one of the guys, who of course is typical asshole number one, I don't even remember what the guy's name is, but he's definitely one of those just cliched asshole type guys. He shoots one of the apes, which therefore Caesar and the rest of the crew comes barreling down and tell them, leave, get out of here, don't ever come back. And the humans are led by God, now I'm totally spacing his name. Clark something. Damn it, I hate when this happens when I'm doing this damn show. Hold on, let me look him up. Clark. I'm going to be like, oh, when I read this, because I know exactly what I'm looking for. 3 old men. Jason Clark. Watch, it's Jason Clark, I bet you. Yep, Jason Clark. Of course it comes to me before I look this damn thing up. Alright, so Jason Clark, who most people don't know who he is, but he had a really big role in Zero Dark 30 a couple years ago. He pops up in little roles here and there. He's actually a big part of the new Terminator reboot, the Terminator Genesis that they're filming right now. But Jason Clark kind of leads these group of guys in the woods, and he's like, okay, we'll go. And they go back to their home where they're rebuilding, and they talk to Gary Oldman. And there's this whole discussion about how there's a dam up in the woods, and they really need the dam to become running again to provide electricity to this rebuilt community that they're doing. And therefore, Jason Clark goes back to the woods to try to negotiate with Caesar to be like, hey, can we work on this dam? And, and then we'll leave you alone, and everybody can go on and do their own thing. And then so forth, all the other hell breaks loose. Remember, we're spoiler free here on Am I on the Air. If you want to hear more about it, you're going to have to listen to our Am I Still on the Air spoiler edition. But yeah, for the spoiler free review, there's not much more I can get into on it. I mean, of course, different things happen, different events happen that lead one thing to another. What I will say about this that I really, really enjoyed with this film is that there's not really a good guy, bad guy in this film. And I love that because every film always feels the need to do that, and there's no need to do that in this film. You have the humans who of course have their needs and their wants and what they need to get done, and then you have the apes, which are just doing their thing, just trying to survive, and they don't want conflict either. So it's really cool to kind of see the mixture of the two groups and how there's no really a right or wrong way. What kills me about these movies is I find myself siding with the apes all the time, and I'm like, screw the humans, the apes need to do what they gotta do. And it's crazy, man. I feel such a connection to Caesar, and just the way that Andy Serkis plays him is just amazing. One of the other apes, Koba, who's kind of the bad guy ape, and you saw Koba in the first film, but Koba in this one is actually played by Toby Kebbell, and a lot of people don't know his name either, but he's a name that you're gonna know probably within the next year or so. Toby Kebbell has had littler roles in Clash of the Titans, or Wrath of the Titans. He was in what's the Jake Gyllenhaal one? Prince of Persia. He was in Rock and Rolla. He was in The Sorcerer's Apprentice. But he's going to be in that new World of Warcraft movie coming out in a couple years, and he's actually going to be Doctor Doom. He's Victor Von Doom in the Fantastic Four reboot that's currently filming. So he's actually going to be a pretty decent name, but he does the motion capture for Koba, who's the, like I said, the bad guy kind of ape. He's the ape that joined up with Caesar in the first movie. Awesome. Did an amazing job as Koba, and there's so much more I want to talk about with this ape, but we'll have to save it for the spoiler review. It's just, the acting in this is top-notch. The story was top-notch. Everything about this film was amazing. I don't know if I can say I enjoyed it more than Rise, because I really, really loved Rise, and I just watched Rise literally a couple days before I saw Dawn, just to kind of have it fresh in my mind, and it's just such a good movie. I've seen Rise so many times. I will probably go see Dawn again in the theater, but I loved it. I loved everything about it. There is already a lot of talk that people are trying to push for Andy Serkis to get an Oscar nomination out of this, but the Academy has never awarded for motion capture, but they're saying, how can you ignore that in this film? Because, I mean, what you see up there with Caesar is Andy Serkis. He did all that stuff with a mocap suit on, and then the visual artists go in and they add the hair and everything, they make him look like an ape, but that's his face, that's his face expressions, that's his voice, it's everything that he's doing in that film, and it's just mind-blowing, and he is the lead. Caesar is the lead actor in this film, and he deserves an award. He really, really does. So I'm on board with everybody that says this guy should be nominated. Completely 100%. So, in the end result, as far as movie review goes, 5 out of 5 for me. Another 5-star film this summer. There's been several of them. This might be my biggest 5-star summer, but you know what? There's not a lot of movies this summer, but the quality that's been being put out is just great. So, 5 stars for me. I absolutely loved it. There's not anything I can really say coming out of it that I would change or do to make better. It leaves you kind of on the edge, ready for the third movie, which they're already making. Well, they're not making. Well, they're working on it. They're in pre-production right now. Same director, same cast, and everything. So I'm excited for that, and I'm ready, man. Let's keep this franchise going. I just loved it, and I love Caesar. He's one of the best CG type characters that I've ever seen in my life. So, once again, 5 out of 5 for me. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and definitely keep your eyes peeled for that "Am I Still in the Air" spoiler edition of our review for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes coming up in the next couple of days. All right, okay. Let me take a sip here, and then we'll get going on with the news. That's good. Alrighty. Alright, it's time. First up, new Everything Wrong With. This time it's The Purge in 13 minutes or less. So this is getting us prepared for The Purge 2, Anarchy. Comes out this weekend. I will definitely be seeing that. So I will have a review of The Purge Anarchy on the next edition of Am I on the Air? Another new trailer we got posted, and this one's really, really good. It's the second trailer for Gone Girl. This is the movie that's based on the Gillian Flynn book. It stars Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike. This trailer is excellent. It's directed by David Fincher. Super dark, super creepy. I'm looking forward to it, man. This is my wife's most anticipated movie of the year. She read the book and absolutely loved the book. And as soon as she found out they were making a movie, she's been begging me to tell her all the news that has come down the pike on this. And once this trailer dropped, she's watched it a dozen times and just says that it looks so good and so close to the book. So it's definitely exciting. So the new Gone Girl trailer is available. Check it out. And remember, you can always view all the trailers over on amiontheair.com. Just click on the trailers tab. Some leaked scripts came out from the new season of Doctor Who, and the BBC has kindly requested that you please don't read them. So I'm just providing you with that public service announcement. Please do not read the leaked scripts of Doctor Who. I'm really sad about this. This news dropped really literally right after I did the last episode, and I really don't get it. The Weinstein Company has actually passed on financing Kevin Smith's Clerks 3. Kevin Smith has been talking for a while now about doing Clerks 3. He says the whole cast is ready to go, and he's been, stoked to do it. And I love Clerks. I love Clerks 1. I love Clerks 2. I quote him all the time. And Kevin Smith went to the Weinsteins with a budget of only $6 million. 6. Speaking of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, it's like a $200 million movie. Clerks 3, $6 million. And the Weinsteins passed. They said nope. They said we'll distribute it, but we're not going to pay for it. Which is really shocking to me because Kevin Smith has had a long, successful running relationship with the Weinsteins. So I find it very odd that they would pass on such a low budget for a movie. Because both Clerks have been profitable films for the Weinsteins, and they were made for about the same amount of money. So I just don't see why they would pass on this. But they did. I don't think Kevin Smith's going to have a hard time selling this to another film company. I mean, they know that there's a demand for Clerks 3. They know that they'll get the people to tune in for it. So I think he'll end up selling the script and he'll be okay. But for now, it's kind of been pushed back because of this damn turn down from the Weinsteins. Alright, moving on. We have the first official trailer for Sharknado 2, the second one. This will be debuting soon on the Sci-Fi Network, so we just thought we'd post the trailer just because everybody seems to geek out over this movie for some reason. Harry Potter nerds freaked out this past week as J.K. Rowling debuted a new short story featuring the return of Harry Potter, like in his 30s. She still claims there will be no new movie, no new books or anything, just these short stories, but this has definitely got people rumbling that something new is coming down the pipeline. Disney is working on a live-action Dumbo movie, and the writer of the Transformers films is the one behind it. So it's going to be some live-action CG hybrid film. So I think it'd be interesting to see a live-action Dumbo. We'll take it from there. Speaking of Gillian Flynn, who I just talked about on the Gone Girl movie, her first book was called Sharp Objects, and that is actually being turned into a TV show. And they're working on getting that all together right now, but look for that to be headed to TV. Pitch Perfect 2 is currently filming, and they've added the sing-off a cappella group, the Philharmonic. The sing-off is, of course, a singing competition over on NBC, which is all a cappella groups, and one of the most popular groups is called the Philharmonic, and they've been added to Pitch Perfect 2. David Slade is going to be directing the PlayStation Network's new Powers show. This has actually got me very excited because PlayStation, which I'm a big PlayStation fan, I hate Xbox, I'm all about PlayStation, and there was a bidding war over where this show was going to go. There's a show called Powers, which sounds very, very interesting, and PlayStation wants to kind of get into the game. I mean, you see now, we had Netflix, you see that Amazon's doing it, you see that Hulu's doing it now, Yahoo is even in the game now where they just got Community and stuff. So a lot of these networks are doing like their own TV shows, and so PlayStation wanted to get on board and they wanted a show. And it's going to be, the pilot will be free to all PlayStation members, and then you'll get the whole series for free if you belong to PlayStation Plus, which I do, and I'm looking forward to checking out Powers, which will be a live-action TV show on the PlayStation Network. So David Slade has been tapped to direct that, so that's very, very cool. Mila Kunis said she's going to step away from acting after her baby is born. She says, who knows, maybe down the line she'll get bored and she'll think that she wants to return. But for now, she wants to focus on being a full-time mom once the baby is born. So that is very, very cool on her part. Pamela Anderson has filed for a divorce from Rick Solomon. Once Upon a Time has booked Elizabeth Mitchell for Season 4. Transformers Age of Extinction has become China's #1 film of all time. That is amazing right there, man. Congratulations, Transformers, for the biggest movie in China history. It is dominating over there. It actually beat Avatar to become the biggest movie in China history. And actually, just a couple days ago, Transformers has now officially become the biggest movie in the, overall, in all box office, international, domestic, everything. Is now the biggest movie in for 2014. So it's a great year for Transformers Age of Extinction, man. As much as some people want to rip on the film, it's the #1 movie of the year. It is on its way to $1 billion at the box office. X-Men Days of Future Past was the #1 film for the year, and now Transformers has passed it in just 3 weeks. It took X-Men like 4 months to get there, and it's 3 months, I should say, to get there, and Transformers did it in 3 weeks, so that is just insane. The Conjuring spin-off is officially called Annabelle, and it's got a release date in October, so look for that. Annabelle, of course, the freaky little doll that was in that movie. This isn't really any news for movie stuff, but I thought it was pretty interesting, so I'm going to drop it on you guys. AMC Theaters, which I'm a big fan of. I go to AMC all the time here. It's where my IMAX theater is and everything. They're going to be spending $600 million on adding fully reclining seats to their theaters. I hope to God that their Tucson location here is one of them. But I was pretty stoked when I read this. That's going to be really, really nice. They want to totally rip out all the old, dinky, small seats and put in these really, really big, thick, fancy reclining chairs, and they're willing to spend the money to do it. And I really appreciate a theater chain doing that because it makes that movie-going experience that much better. So, very cool on their part. For all you Sons of Anarchy fans, Courtney Love has joined this season, their new season, which I believe will be their last. So Courtney Love, who hasn't done any acting in quite some time, is returning to acting with a pivotal role in the new Sons of Anarchy season. We have the first official trailer for the new Ridley Scott film, Exodus, Gods and Kings, which stars Christian Bale and Joel Edgerton. So, it looks okay. It looks pretty interesting. I'm not sold yet on it, though, but you can check out that trailer. Universal Pictures is actually eyeing Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to take on his own franchise, and it would be the Robert Ludlum franchise, which is being compared to the Jason Bourne films. It's actually written by the same guy. It's about like a ex-Navy SEAL who also becomes like a detective and all this stuff. But it's a Bourne-like franchise, and they want to launch it, and they're thinking of using The Rock to be that guy. I like this because I like anything that involves The Rock, and I think that he really does truly deserve his own franchise type film. Everybody seems to have him these days, and, you can say, like, well, he's part of the Fast and Furious, and he's, part of G.I. Joe and stuff like that, but those aren't really his franchise. We want to talk about a movie that's his by name, that you can see him in Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, and carry on this franchise, so I'm excited about this. I'm a little sad about this because I do like the TV show The Millers, but now Sean Hayes has joined the next season as a series regular. I hate Sean Hayes. I can't stand this dude. But he's joining as a series regular. That's probably going to make me second guess watching The Millers next season. Robbie Amell, who of course is cousins of Stephen Amell, who plays Arrow over on the CW. Robbie was on the TV show The Tomorrow People, and I really liked The Tomorrow People, but it got canceled. But Robbie has now bounced back, and he's joined the new TV show The Flash, which The Flash, of course, is its own spin-off of Arrow. And he has joined as half of the comic book hero Firestorm. When I say half, it's because in the comics he's blended with another character to become Firestorm. I don't know if they're actually going to have Firestorm in the TV show, but he will be playing the human character that becomes Firestorm. So I think it's a good mix. I like Robbie. He was good on the Tomorrow People, so I'm glad to see him get a new job and join a show like The Flash. The guy that wrote the Maze Runner has been hired to write Allegiant, which is the third Divergent film, so he's writing that. Robert Redford has signed on to play Dan Rather in a new movie called Truth. Hemsworth is going to be doing a new Moby Dick origin story for a movie called Heart of the Sea, which is directed by Ron Howard. Ron Howard directed Chris in Rush, and Rush was an amazing film. And now they're working together again on Heart of the Sea, which is a Moby Dick origin story. That Rock one for Universal, that the franchise we were talking about, it's called the Jansen Directive. The Jansen Directive. I like it. It should be called the Johnson Directive. Let's see. We've got another new trailer for The Captive. This is a new movie starring Ryan Reynolds and Rosario Dawson. It looks a little bit like Prisoners, like his daughter gets kidnapped and he's trying to figure out who has her and everything. We have another new Everything Wrong With. It is The Matrix Reloaded in 17 minutes or less. We have another new trailer. It is for Unbroken, which is directed by Angelina Jolie. It's her directorial debut. And she is, this is based on a true story, and it looks pretty interesting. I don't know much about this story, but it's this guy who's a war veteran. His plane crashes and he lives on sea for like 40 days, then gets rescued, and then actually becomes a prisoner in Japan, and then breaks free from there, and then actually joins the Olympics and wins a gold medal for running. Like, it's an insane true story, but it's true, and that's what makes it kind of crazy. So check out the trailer for Unbroken. We have the second teaser for Mockingjay Part 1, the new Hunger Games. It's another one of those President Snow addresses kind. Mission Impossible 5 is in negotiations with Alec Baldwin to join the cast as a CIA head. I like this. I'm looking very much forward to the new Mission Impossible. Part 4, Ghost Protocol, was the best of the series, and Part 5 I'm really looking forward to. And I love Alec Baldwin, and I can see him as like the head of a CIA unit, so I totally love this casting, and I hope they can get it done. The Coen brothers' next film, Hail Caesar, which I feel like every week on this show I'm telling you about new people that have joined the cast. Well, got some more. This time, Scarlett Johansson is in negotiations to join the film, so it doesn't look like it's a lock yet, but she's definitely circling it. And this film's already got like George Clooney and Jonah Hill just joined, and it's got so many people I can't even remember them all. But I'm telling you, every couple of days I see another name added to this film, so it better be good at this rate. Orphan Black has been renewed for season 3. Mission Impossible 5 has also landed its lead female role, which is going to be Rebecca Ferguson. I don't know her much. She's a British actress. She hasn't been in much at all. She's going to be in Hercules, the new rock movie, in a couple weeks here. She's going to be in that. But she's joined Mission Impossible 5. So I wonder what this means for Paula Patton. Paula Patton was the lead female in Ghost Protocol, and I had heard she was coming back, but now that they're saying that this Rebecca Ferguson has joined, there's no mention of Paula Pattinson's name. So I would like to see Paula return, and I'm curious to see what happens there. The Exorcist director William Friedkin is considering directing True Detective, which that's very interesting. True Detective Season 2. A lot of movement going on with that TV show right now, too. We'll get to a little bit more news on that in a minute. Penelope Cruz has joined Grimsby opposite Sacha Baron Cohen. That's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to Grimsby. It's like this spoof spy movie where Sacha Baron Cohen is brothers with Mark Strong. Mark Strong, of course, is your typical spy. Grimsby is the stupid little guy that gets tagged along, and so I like it, and it's cool to see Penelope Cruz join that kind of casting. So I'm very excited for Grimsby. Michael Douglas has talked about the Ant-Man production. He talks about Comic-Con. He talks about Edgar Wright's departure, and so much more. You can check out that article on our Twitter and Facebook page. Check out the interview with Michael Douglas. Okay, I'm going to run down, because this is too big to just skip over. We got our 2014 Emmy nominations. So I'm going to run them down really quick and kind of give you my pick. Not what I think is going to win, but what I would pick if I was the one picking the winners, alright? So, 2014 Emmy nominations: Outstanding Drama Series, Breaking Bad, Downton Abbey, Game of Thrones, House of Cards, Mad Men, and True Detective. Out of this, I actually only watched True Detective, so I would give it to that. If I watched Breaking Bad, I'd probably say that, which I still do plan to watch it, so don't kill me. That was just a show that got away from me, and I never got a chance to start watching. But I don't really care about any of the other shows on here, but I would go with True Detective just because that's what I watched. Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series: Bryan Cranston for Breaking Bad, Jeff Daniels for The Newsroom, Jon Hamm for Mad Men, Woody Harrelson for True Detective, Kevin Spacey for House of Cards, and Matthew McConaughey for True Detective. I would go with Matthew McConaughey for True Detective. Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series: Claire Danes in Homeland, Michelle Dockery for Downton Abbey, Juliana Margulies for The Good Wife, Kerry Washington in Scandal, Robin Wright for House of Cards, and Lizzie Kaplan for Masters of Sex. I'm going to actually give it to Lizzie Kaplan because she's smoking hot and she gets naked in Masters of Sex. So I give her props for that because that's something Claire Danes does not do for Homeland. And Homeland is the main show that I watch out of all of these. And Claire Danes, she always gets nominated. But you know what? She drives me nuts in this TV show because all she does is cry and not listen to what her bosses tell her to do. And I don't think you should win an award for that. Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series. Aaron Paul for Breaking Bad, Jim Carter, Downton Abbey, Peter Dinklage, Game of Thrones, Mandy Patinkin, Homeland, Josh Charles, The Good Wife, and Jon Voight for Ray Donovan. I'm going to actually give it to Jon Voight for Ray Donovan. Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series. Anna Gunn, Breaking Bad, Maggie Smith, Downton Abbey, Lena Headey for Game of Thrones, Christine Baranski for The Good Wife, Joanne Froggatt for Downton Abbey, and Christina Hendricks for Mad Men. I'm going to go with Christina Hendricks for Mad Men. She got some big ass titties. Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama Series. Paul Giamatti for Downton Abbey, Reg E. Cathy for House of Cards, Beau Bridges for Masters of Sex, Robert Morris for Mad Men, Dylan Baker for The Good Wife, and Joe Morton for Scandal. I would actually go with Beau Bridges for Masters of Sex. Outstanding Guest Actress in a Drama Series. Margot Martindale for The Americans, Diana Rigg for Game of Thrones, Allison Janney for Masters of Sex, Kate Mara for House of Cards, Jane Fonda for The Newsroom, and Kate Burton for Scandal. I'll go with Kate Mara for House of Cards. Outstanding Comedy Series. Big Bang Theory, Louie, Modern Family, Veep, Orange is the New Black, and Silicon Valley. This is a hard one because I love Big Bang Theory, I love Modern Family, and I love Silicon Valley. So, three of these categories, or three of these nominees I'm all about. So, if I had to pick one though, I would definitely go Modern Family because that is the best comedy show on television. Followed definitely by Big Bang Theory, and Silicon Valley was a pleasant surprise on HBO this season. I can't wait for the second season. Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series. Louis C.K. for Louis, Don Cheadle, House of Lies, Matt LeBlanc for Episodes, Jim Parsons, Big Bang Theory, William H. Macy for Shameless, and Ricky Gervais for Derek. I really want to go with Don Cheadle for House of Lies because I love him in that show, but it's hard to go against Jim Parsons for Big Bang Theory, so that's who I'm going to go with. Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series. Lena Dunham for Girls, Edie Falco for Nurse Jackie, Julia Louis-Dreyfus for Veep, Amy Poehler, Parks and Rec, Taylor Schilling, Orange is the New Black, and Melissa McCarthy for Mike and Molly. I'm going to go Melissa McCarthy for Mike and Molly. Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. Ty Burrell, Modern Family, Adam Driver for Girls, Jesse Tyler Ferguson for Modern Family, Tony Hale for Veep, Fred Armisen for Portlandia, and Andre Braugher for Brooklyn Nine-Nine. As much as I love Ty Burrell, much as I love Jesse Tyler Ferguson, I'm going to actually change it this year, and I'm going to go with Andre Braugher for Brooklyn Nine-Nine because that dude kills it every single episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. Mayim Bialik for The Big Bang Theory, Julie Bowen, Modern Family, Anna Chlumsky for Veep, Allison Janney for Mom, Kate Mulgrew for Orange is the New Black, and Kate McKinnon for Saturday Night Live. I'm going to go with Julie Bowen for Modern Family on this one. Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series. Steve Buscemi for Portlandia, Louis C.K. for Saturday Night Live, Nathan Lane for Modern Family, Bob Newhart for The Big Bang Theory, Gary Cole for Veep, and Jimmy Fallon's Saturday Night Live. I'm going to go Jimmy Fallon for Saturday Night Live because that episode was hilarious. Outstanding Guest Actress in a Comedy Series. Melissa McCarthy for SNL, Tina Fey for SNL, Joan Cusack for Shameless, Natasha Lyonne for Orange is the New Black, Laverne Cox for Orange is the New Black, and Uzo Aduba for Orange is the New Black. I'm going to go Melissa McCarthy for Saturday Night Live. She was so good on that episode. Outstanding Reality Competition Program. The Amazing Race, Dancing with the Stars, Project Runway, So You Think You Can Dance, Top Chef, and The Voice. I'm going to go with The Voice because it's the only one I watch out of all of those. Outstanding Reality Host, Tom Bergeron, Dancing with the Stars, Anthony Bourdain for The Taste, Kat Deely, So You Think You Can Dance, Heidi Klum and Tim Gunn for Project Runway, Jane Lynch for Hollywood Game Night, and Betty White and Betty White's Off the Rockers. I don't like any of these, so I'll give it to Betty White. Outstanding Variety Series. The Colbert Report, The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Real Time with Bill Maher, Saturday Night Live, and Jimmy Kimmel Live. I'm going to go with Saturday Night Live. Outstanding Animated Series. Archer, Bob's Burgers, Futurama, South Park, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Manhattan Project. I'm going to have to go with South Park on that. Outstanding Miniseries, American Horror Story Coven, Fargo, Luther, Bonnie and Clyde, The White Queen, and Trem. I'm going to go with American Horror Story Coven. Trying to say I'm going to skip some of these. We don't need to talk about all that. Yeah, the rest of it is just stuff for the miniseries. So, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress, and all that. So, that is my breakdown of the Emmy nominees. Of course, if you want to read the full lineup, you can always do that. Just click on the link on the Facebook and the Twitter page. Look for the Emmy nominees article. Rumor mill has it that Doomsday will be appearing in the new Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice film. This has been a rumor for a long time now. I don't know how much to read into it. I don't think that they would waste Doomsday in this film. He's somebody way bigger than just this film, and I think they could utilize him probably in Justice League a lot better, or save him for the real sequel to Man of Steel. So, I don't know. Take this rumor with a grain of salt. Fast and Furious 7 has wrapped its production. They are done, and they shared a very heartfelt message to all the people and the crew and the fans and everybody that really helped guide them and take them through this very painful process, of course, trying to finish the film after the death of Paul Walker. So, it's a beautiful message that one of the producers wrote, and if you'd like to read it, definitely check out the article on our Twitter and Facebook page. It's a beautiful little statement, but I'm glad that they were able to wrap it and finish everything, and I look forward to seeing the first official trailer, and I definitely look forward to April 3rd of 2015 when Fast and Furious 7 hits theaters. Glee's final season episode count has been officially trimmed. And they were going to have a full season at like 22 episodes, and Fox has knocked it down to 13, I believe. So they chopped it in half. The El Rey Network has already renewed Matador for a second season. The first season hasn't even started yet, but they're that confident in the film, or in the TV show, that they've already renewed it for a second season. I don't even know if I have this El Rey Network. I need to look for it, actually. Rachel Weisz is in talks to join Michael Fassbender in a new movie called The Light Between Oceans. Rosie O'Donnell is returning to The View as a new co-host. Oh, there we go. Some more casting in Hail Caesar. Jonah Hill. Yes, I mentioned him earlier, but he was actually a new casting that we hadn't talked about. Jonah Hill has now officially joined Channing Tatum and George Clooney in the Coen Brothers' Hail Caesar. Of course, like I just mentioned earlier, that Scarlett Johansson is now in negotiations as well. We have I'm not going to read all the premiere dates, but we have the premiere dates for Fox and for ABC and CBS and all that. You can check out the premiere dates of all your favorite shows for the new fall season. George R.R. Martin, who wrote the Game of Thrones books, he says, and I quote, "Fuck you," to fans that are worried that he'll die before he finishes writing the books. I don't really care about Game of Thrones too much, but I thought that article was hilarious, so I had to post it. Arrow's second season is going to be hitting DVD and Blu-ray on September 16th. HBO says they are committed to following the Game of Thrones all the way to the end, and it will continue beyond seasons 5 and 6. Gary Oldman has boarded a new movie opposite Kevin Costner called Criminal. Bear with me here. I'm skipping some of this nonsense that we don't really need to talk about. Garth Brooks has announced the new World Tour and double album. I don't know who likes Garth Brooks anymore, but you can check that out. I was pretty excited about, even though I haven't finished the first season yet. I need to. But Hemlock Grove is back. Season 2 has officially begun over on Netflix, and you can start streaming all the episodes right now. Hemlock Grove Season 2, all episodes now available on Netflix. The WB Warner Brothers has opted to do Shane Black's new movie, The Nice Guys, and it will star Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. Boardwalk Empire will be returning for its final season on September 7th. True Detective is looking at Colin Farrell and Taylor Kitsch for Season 2. So they're supposedly in the negotiation process. If this happens, I can dig it. I can totally dig it. I really like Colin Farrell, and I really like Taylor Kitsch too. Very underrated actor, and I think the two of them would be pretty cool for a new season of True Detective. So keep an eye out on that. We have another new trailer starring Reese Witherspoon. It's a movie called Wild. Tracy Morgan, who we told you he just got, he was in that car accident about a month ago, got really seriously injured. He is actually going to be suing Walmart over the deadly crash that killed a couple of his buddies that was in the same car as him. The driver of the truck, it was a Walmart truck, and the driver of the truck fell asleep at the wheel and caused the accident. So Tracy Morgan is looking to sue over the crash. Tommy Ramone, he is the Ramones drummer. He's passed away at the age of 65. Condolences to the Ramones. AMC has ordered a new martial arts drama called Badlands. They've ordered it straight to series, so they're not even going to test that one out. So they got some confidence in that one. Game of Thrones actress has joined Vin Diesel in The Last Witch Hunter. Give me just one sec. I need to find what her name is, because that'd be pretty incomplete news if I was to just tell you that. Rose Leslie is her name, and she plays the Wild Warrior Ygritte in Game of Thrones, and she'll be joining Vin Diesel in The Last Witch Hunter. Last Witch Hunter is the next film that Vin Diesel will be doing now that Fast and Furious 7 has wrapped. Starz is splitting the new TV show Outlander. They're going to split the season. They signed for a really big full season, and instead of doing it all in one shot, they're going to cut it in half and break it into 2 seasons. Thomas Jane is going to star in Sci-Fi's new show, The Expanse. Talked about that. South Park has signed a brand new deal exclusively with Hulu Plus. Every single season of South Park will be airing on Hulu, and all the new episodes will be popping up. The new season starts in September, and they'll be streaming on Hulu as well. So, very cool. South Park was, they had their own website that showed all the episodes, and they're now going to shut that website down, and they're going to have the episodes be exclusively through Hulu. We have the first full TV trailer for the new Doctor Who Season 8, or Series 8 as they call it, on the BBC. So there you go, you can check out that first full trailer for the debut of the new Doctor Who. NBC's Constantine is already replacing a major character with a new female lead. One of the major female characters on the show, instead of just recasting her, they're going to kill her off, and then they're going to introduce another female character to take her place. So, very interesting that they're changing that up already, but I guess they said during production they decided they wanted to go a different direction, and it wasn't involving that character anymore. Better Call Saul, which is set in the Breaking Bad timeline, says that it's going to actually be, the show will begin 6 years before Saul meets Walter White. Just to kind of give you an idea. Like I said, I don't watch Breaking Bad, so I can't really dive into this anymore. But I know who Walter White is, and this Better Call Saul will debut. The timeline will be 6 years before Saul meets Walter White. Guillermo del Toro has gone on record again saying that he doesn't think that Hellboy 3 is ever going to happen. Thank God, because I don't care about Hellboy, and I think when we talk about comic book movies of the 2000s on the Next People's Forum, I can have more time to talk shit about it. Stan Lee has confirmed that he did a cameo for Avengers Age of Ultron, so that makes me very happy. Zachary Quinto is talking about a potential return as Sylar on the new Heroes Reborn miniseries that comes out next year. He says it's all going to be about timing. It's going to be, if they can fit it in or not. He says that he's talked to the producers. They have some ideas in mind, but it's all going to really depend on, scheduling and timing. So, we'll see. But I would love to see Sylar make his return. Roberto Orci, who is a writer, he's going to be directing the new Star Trek 3. He wrote some of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. He's written a ton of movies, and he was supposed to be writing part 3, and he actually says he's off the project, and he's very uncertain about the franchise's future. This is really interesting to me, because we all heard after The Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out that Sony was really kind of like replanning their stages. At first they were saying, oh yeah, part 3 comes out in 2016, and then part 4 in 2018, and they just had this whole thing, set to go. Well, then Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out, and it didn't do very well. It did okay in its worldwide gross, but it didn't even debut to $100 million, and it faded really, really quickly. It was only in the top 10 for a couple weeks, and then it was gone. And they thought it was going to be one of the most profitable movies of the year, and it made less than all the other Spider-Man films. So therefore, Sony is kind of backtracking and saying, are we sure we can do what we think we want to do? And now with Roberto Orci not being involved anymore, that makes me a little scared. It really, really does. So, we'll keep you informed on the Spider-Man front, but for right now, this doesn't look good. Cinemax has renewed Steven Soderbergh's new show, The Nick, a month before it even debuts. Man, a lot of these networks are just on this kick right now where they're just renewing shows before they even air, which is kind of crazy. You would think you'd want to see how the ratings are first, but okay. Christopher Walken is going to be playing Captain Hook on the live TV Peter Pan musical. Yes, you heard me correct. Christopher Walken playing Captain Hook in a live TV Peter Pan musical. Wow. Yes, Transformers is now the #1 movie of the year with over $750 million worldwide. Congratulations to Optimus and the crew, and of course Michael Bay, who's shutting down the haters as he has the most profitable film of the year. No, I'm sorry, not the most profitable film, but the most successful film of the year. We have another new trailer for a movie called Swelter, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. Aw, yeah. The Nickelodeon show Sam and Cat has been canceled due to some behind-the-scenes drama. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes director Matt Reeves is looking at The Invisible Woman for possible next projects, so we'll keep you up to date on that. That could be cool. So Yahoo saved Community. Community got canceled over on NBC, and then it was being shopped around. It looked like Hulu was going to save it, and then Hulu passed, and then Yahoo came to the rescue and said, we'll save it, and they're going to get another season on Yahoo. Well, that's not the only show that might be saved. Now, this one isn't a done deal, but Yahoo is looking to save Enlisted. Yes, Enlisted was a show over on Fox. And, this is a show I kind of want to check out because I've been hearing nothing but good things. A lot of people that watch it love it. But Fox ended up canceling it. And now Yahoo might save it. It's on the list. So we'll keep you up to date. Look for that to maybe be finalized in the next week or so. Saturday Night Live cast member Brooks Wheeland has been fired. Brooks was only on the show for one season. And he's been let go. So he was okay. I didn't mind him, actually. So I don't know what else was going on with him. But I do know. Austin Marathon bombing survivor. His story is getting a movie treatment from Lionsgate Studios. Give me 1 sec to pull up some more info on this here. It's based on a book called Stronger, written by Jeff Ballman. Jeff lost his legs in the attack, and his story is going to be adapted for a new movie that will be distributed by Lionsgate. So that is really cool, and I'm excited about that. Angelica Cilea has boarded NBC's Constantine as Zed. This is the replacement female character for the one that is getting killed off on the show that I read you earlier. I'm not familiar with her too much, but Angelica Cilea is her name. NBC has renewed American Ninja Warrior, America's Got Talent, and Last Comic Standing. This makes me happy as I'm a big fan of America's Got Talent and Last Comic Standing, so I'm happy to see them both get a renewal from NBC. Child 44, starring Tom Hardy and Noomi Rapace, is going to be released on April 17th, 2015. Kate Mara, who is going to be the Invisible Woman in the Fantastic Four reboot, she says that the plot for the new Fantastic Four movie is not based on any pre-existing comic book storyline. So it's going to be a brand new storyline, so that's really, really cool. Kind of on a side note, speaking of comics, Marvel Comics announced today that they're doing a new Thor series where Thor is actually a woman. Yes, it's a female god of thunder, or goddess of thunder, that basically in the storyline, Thor can no longer lift the hammer, which that means he's not worthy anymore. And according to the inscription on the hammer, if you're worthy, you shall possess the power of Thor. And this woman is able to pick up the hammer, and she becomes the new Thor. So, a very interesting and bold move from Marvel. And a lot of people are saying, what does this mean for the universe and the cinematic universe? I don't think it means anything, because I don't see this really affecting anything in the cinematic universe. But in the comic series, Thor's going to become a woman. We got a really cool article up with Kevin Feige, who's the head of Marvel, and it explains why Peyton Reed is the right director for Ant-Man. Of course, we know Peyton Reed stepped in and became the director of Ant-Man about a month ago, and a lot of people have been kind of bitching about it and kind of complaining, and I think this was really needed for Kevin Feige to come out and say, you know what? Peyton is the man. He's the guy we need for this job. And he explains why. So go ahead and check out that article. It actually just posted it earlier today. Kevin Feige on why Peyton Reed is the right director for Ant-Man. Check it out on the Twitter page. About a month or two ago, I talked about that they're going to be rebooting, Lionsgate is rebooting Power Rangers. And that was interesting. And now it's starting to come together, and they've hired the writers that wrote X-Men First Class, and Roberto Orci, that name comes up again, who just left Spider-Man 3, and now he's been signed to come on board and help write Power Rangers for Lionsgate. So they got an interesting writing group. The X-Men First Class is an amazing film, and I like Roberto Orci, and he's got some interesting takes on things. So it looks like they're really going to do some good stuff here on this Power Rangers movie, so I'm going to hold back my judgment until I see more, but I'm kind of getting intrigued. Filming has officially begun on the new David Yates Tarzan live-action film starring Alexander Skarsgård. We got the second official trailer for The Prince, which is a new action movie starring Bruce Willis. We have a new Honest trailer, which is for the Green Lantern. Definitely pokes a lot of fun at Green Lantern. I didn't mind the Green Lantern movie, but, I'm sure we'll talk about that more in the People's Forum. Speaking of Saturday Night Live again, Saturday Night Live has now lost 3 more members of its cast. Noel Wells and John how do you say this guy's name? John Milheiser. Their contracts are not going to get renewed, and then Nasim Pedrad is departing after 5 seasons, as she's going to go do a new Fox sitcom. I like Nasim. She's actually really, really cool on the show, so I'm sad to see her go. The other 2 that are not getting renewed don't even look familiar to me, and I watch SNL a lot, so they were probably just some background, year 1 players that didn't get to do very much. Seth MacFarlane is getting sued by a company that says they created the Ted teddy bear, but I don't think they called it Ted. Let me take a look here. It's funny to see how many people get sued saying that, when people say, oh, they stole my idea. Bengal Mangle Productions claimed that they created a character called Charlie that was a vulgar teddy bear that lived with humans. And they claim that Seth MacFarlane stole the idea of Charlie and turned it into Ted, so they are suing for that likeness. Interesting. Very interesting. 12 Monkeys is becoming a TV show over on the Sci-Fi Channel. And the producers of the TV show say it's a complete reimagining, and that they didn't want to just remake the movie into a TV show. They wanted to do their own version of it, so it's a complete reimagining. So that's really cool. Looking forward to that. Big Hero 6 is a new Disney movie coming out, and the first official trailer came out today for it, so we got that posted on the Twitter and Facebook page. I think it looks really cute, and I'm not a big guy on animation films, but this looks really, really cool. We got another new Everything Wrong With. Today, it's Everything Wrong With Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Oh, yeah. On DVD and Blu-ray today is Rio 2 and Under the Skin. And that, my friends, is going to actually catch us up to speed with the news. So, thank you for bearing with me as we get you up to speed. Let's go on over to our box office and our release dates. So I just told you what's on DVD and Blu-ray actually as of today, which is Rio 2 and Under the Skin. Under the Skin is getting rave reviews. It was a movie that came out, very low budget, independent film starring Scarlett Johansson, where she's like an alien trying to find a host body to live in. And I've heard nothing but great things about this film, so I actually have a copy of it, just waiting to get some time to watch it, but I'm looking forward to seeing Under the Skin. In theaters on Friday is going to be Sex Tape, The Purge Anarchy, and Planes, Fire, and Rescue. So, big release at the box office this weekend, just because you have three totally different films. You got the kid movie with Planes, the horror movie with The Purge, and of course comedy with Sex Tape. And let's talk our box office. Coming in number 10 is Jersey Boys with $2.5 million. Number 9 is Begin Again with $2.9 million. Number 8 is Maleficent with $4.2 million. Number 7 is Deliver Us from Evil with $4.7 million. Number 6 is Earth to Echo with $5.5 million. Number 5 is How to Train Your Dragon 2 with $5.9 million. Number 4 is 22 Jump Street with $6.7 million. Number 3 is Tammy with $12.9 million. Number 2 is Transformers Age of Extinction with $16.5 million. And number 1, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes with a debut of $73 million. So, very big hit there for Dawn. I'm very happy that it did that well. When the movie was coming out, they were estimating the movie would probably do about 60, and then it was getting such good word of mouth that they were like, oh, maybe 65, maybe 70 tops. And it did 73, which is actually really good because it beat all expectations that I read. The first film, Rise, did $55 million, I believe, so it did a lot bigger. It's got that upward trajectory, and I'm sure it made everybody very, very happy over at the movie studio. So Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, your number 1 film, $73 million, 5 out of 5 stars for me. Look for the Am I Still in the Air spoiler review here in the next couple of days. We hope to get that banged out, and that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen, for my newest edition of Am I on the Air? Apes on Horses is tonight's show. Let me just shout out number 1, Red Dragons Radio. That, of course, is your one-stop shop for some great podcasts on the web. Of course, you have us, Am I on the Air? You have This Week with the Geek with Geeky Pat. You now have the People's Forum with For My Peoples. You have Pro Wrestling Nation with Funky Sam Medina. And speaking of Pro Wrestling Nation, I will probably be having a guest appearance on that in the next couple of days. So I am lining a lot of stuff up here, a lot of podcasts to get recorded, but I'm looking forward to do some wrestling talk once again over on Pro Wrestling Nation. I like when we do a lot of cross-promotion stuff over on the Red Dragons Network. So check out all the great shows on reddragonsradio.com. And of course, us. Our official webpage is amiontheair.com. That's where you want to go. Check out all the trailers. Check out reviews. Check out everything. amiontheair.com. Follow us on Twitter at amiontheair. Follow me on Twitter at dxdonmega. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/amiontheair. You can find us on Google Plus. If you want to listen, you can find us on iTunes. If you want to listen to us on the go and you're looking for a good mobile streaming app, look for us on Stitcher. Stitcher Radio has us in syndication as well. Alrighty, and that will do it once again, my friends, on this July the 15th. Thank you so much for listening, and keep an eye out for all the great shows coming out on Red Dragons Radio. Definitely bookmark it and keep an eye out. Follow on Twitter at Red Dragons Radio so you always know what's going down with all of the shows on the network. My name is Don Mega. You've been great, and I'll catch you next time right here on Am I on the Air. Peace.